Kristen. Her name is Kristen.
Let's cue the music. You guys should be able to hear that, right?
I can hear music.
Okay. Good morning and welcome from Spokane, Washington. I got a great show for you today. I got not one, but two insurance brokers. They're the best of the best in the biz. I am super excited to bring them on. Let's go ahead and introduce them. First, we have my right-hand man, my partner in crime, Mr. Brett Johnson with Colorado Insurance. Say hi to the camera.
Hello.
There's your intro. So,
Nice.
And second, and I should have introduced you first, being
Ladies first,
the gentle man that I'm not. Give it up for Dezirea Blumig with Country Financial. Woo! How are you both doing today?
Awesome.
Awesome? Good? The snow. I'm finally glad it's from here on out, no more snow. It's supposed to warm up.
I guess it's supposed to snow tonight.
I wouldn't rely on that report.
Well, I'm lucky because I'm gonna go snowboarding today or tomorrow. Nice. It's been a busy week, guys. Trust me. So I have two insurance brokers. We have a lot of questions for you guys. You guys ready? Actually, before we get started, I don't think you guys know. I'm a real estate agent in Spokane. You two are insurance. Us three have three things in common. You guys know what that is? Want to take a stab at it?
We all have insurance.
You're not wrong. We all three have insurance. What else? There's one more thing.
We work in the real estate industry.
Okay, that's two. You guys are doing great, but there's something above that.
We help people.
We help people. In fact, I would say...
Was that it? All three? We got it on our first three tries?
I would say...
Is that the answer?
I don't think he knew the answer. He's
No,
just
look,
throwing it out there.
here-
We're all in this room together.
Here's what it is. We give back to our community. So we'll start with Dezirea. Dezirea, ladies and gentlemen, is the publisher for Stroll magazine. They're a great publication. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I love the mission you guys are doing.
Yeah, so Stroll Eagle Ridge is a private monthly publication for and about the residents of Eagle Ridge, which is a HOA neighborhood up in the Upper West South Hill. My job is to make community connections, help neighbors meet each other. They share their stories, pictures of their kids, their pets, their families. And then my job is to find businesses that do good work, that want to take care of our residents and can represent us well, and we feel comfortable and confident putting them in front of them. We provide a beautiful magazine. We do online reach. There's all sorts of stuff. I could go on forever.
No, I love it. You're connecting the neighbors, and what
Yes.
better place than your neighborhood?
Yes.
So I think it's great. I love the real estate portion where, which by the way, I'm really considering being your agent. That stat. And then what I also like is you're always highlighting local businesses if they're willing, right? So I mean,
they have to be a good fit for both sides.
and that's what I was going to say. I love how picky you are. I mean, as you should be. Who can and can't be in your magazine?
Yeah. If I wouldn't recommend them to my own mother, they're not going in the
That's
magazine.
exactly what you told me last time. And that's why I was like, this is a sweet magazine.
My mom gets the magazine.
So how do you grab a Stroll magazine? Because I don't live in an HOA.
You have to live in Eagle Ridge or be a sponsor.
Oh, gosh. You know what I would call
You
that?
could move.
I could move, but...
That's what I said.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, there's a whole
lots of
list.
homes going up over there.
There are a lot of days on market. But, so you give back. I love it. And I love your customer appreciation. Those are fun events.
Thank you.
BJ, you host your dodgeball events. There's so much
Kickball.
Kickball. Sorry. Did I say I said dodgeball. Kickball events. There's a difference, guys. Trust me. A lot of balls thrown at me. So you're right. Your kickball event. And why do you always have them when I have to have surgery?
Well,
Intentionally.
yeah, I specifically don't want you to come and play, so that's why we do that. But
My indoor soccer team would tell you I'm a great goalkeeper, not a striker.
But our kickball tournament is in early June, and the reason we do that is because we can get access to the fields easier before school's let out for the summer.
And the kickball tournament's great, but the funds, what do you do? Because you're obviously raising donations. What was your mission again?
So we have a different participant each year. The first year was Fail Safe for Life, which is a suicide prevention organization. And then last year was with Generation Alive. which is an organization that helps children throughout the school districts.
I love what you're doing, and you had a great turnout.
Yeah.
Everyone's excited for your kickball tournaments.
Yeah, this year again is coming up June 5th. So if you want to play kickball, June 5th is the day. And the organization that we're donating to this year is called Big Table, which supports industry workers, so your bars and your restaurants, when they go through difficult times. Specifically, it really helped during COVID when a lot of people were laid off or they weren't able to work their actual hours.
Right.
Big Table was able to help support them with like medical expenses, dental expenses, rent, paying their insurance, doing all different kinds of things for industry workers while they may need this support.
I love it. I love what you
That's
guys
cool.
do. Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Is that local or national?
Yeah, it's local here.
Wow, I haven't heard of that.
Yep.
And did you know about her magazine?
I've known about her magazine for a long time. Yep.
Okay, and so
It's fantastic.
She didn't know what you were doing. So, guys, even though they're competitors, we all get along. And these are, by the way, my highly trusted insurance. Like, I recommend these two. If you ever need a quote, I'll put their. By the way, how do we get a hold of you guys? You guys have a website?
I got a website. I got a cell phone. I got an office line.
Yeah.
I got email.
Well, we'll put their info.
Facebook, all of it.
You can meet me.
Pretty easy
You
to
can
meet
meet
an
me
insurance
anywhere.
agent.
Yeah, we can. What I love about BJ and Des, they help me teach the first-time homebuyer class. Some, I'm not going to say who, will come in person. The other one wants to be a little snoozeball and stay home, work from home.
It's a long drive.
It's a long drive. Well, anyways.
I was already down this way today.
Okay.
It just happened to work out.
Yeah. Well, I love you guys. Do great. Everybody. I mean, the clients, the students love you guys. They always ask questions. Recently Saturday, you got a client thanks to me.
Yeah. They haven't gone under contract, but I actually received a really nice message from them that said that they just really appreciated how I approached the insurance portion of the class, and that I wasn't trying to sell him. I just wanted to help educate him on what he needs to protect himself, and he just really appreciated that and asked me if I would be his future insurance agent.
Well,
It makes all the difference.
it makes a big difference because I don't know if I'm a firm believer in good people know good people. So my home insurance or my home inspector Jay, he actually introduced me to Des. Des, I think our first meet we just hit it off.
I think Jay introduced me to Brett.
No, stop.
I've known Jay for quite some time now.
Yeah,
Jay's a master connector.
I think he's got us beat, guys.
He would be a super baller if he could get paid for all the connections he makes.
He's
Too bad people don't get paid for that.
Well, and I was gonna say he's super funny. I mean, he's a little funny looking, but
He does some weird off the wall stuff, but he is quite entertaining. I enjoy him.
he is a little.
We could totally go on a roasting Jay.
We could. I'm sure he's
love
not
you,
here.
Jay.
Yeah, he's not here to protect himself, but we'll give him a hard time.
So I
I mean,
guess
I would
this
do
is the
this.
perfect time.
Jay, I would do this to you in person too. Hey, I'm not going to leave myself out. Do you guys know what I do for the community?
I do know some things that you do for the community, but I'll let you share your own
Oh,
story.
you're going to let me share. Number one, I volunteer at my Spokane Association. So I'm unlike the other I'm not going to. There's realtors who choose not to volunteer, but I am volunteering at my committee. So I'm part of tech, young professionals. I love giving back to the. I'm at a point in my business where I'm giving back more. That's why I really loved your magazine and your kickball tournament. But also, believe it or not, my friends and I, we did. There's a singles epidemic. There's a problem with the singles. Do you guys know what it is? It's those.
I'm
dating
happily
apps.
married. I have no idea.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
But thank God though, right? Because the dating scene is terrible.
So
I have single friends, and I
So that's what I've been told.
would not want to be there.
And
I
so-
actually do have a single friend, and he hates everything about dating.
He does. And the biggest complaint I get from all my single friends is the dating apps suck. So what my friends and I decided to do is we're going to help the single bachelors and bachelorettes of Spokane. And so we put on, this was our first event in Post Falls. And as you can see, I was the MC. We had a great time. It was a great turnout. Oh, shoot, let me mute this real quick.
Are those numbers for the tables?
They are, because we had them assigned.
I love it.
Yeah, this is fun.
I told him he should have had me help host it because I'm
Well,
married.
actually,
you should have a married person host.
I should if you're willing. Well, look at me.
Listen, I know the roadmap to success here. So.
Aren't Aren't I a great MC? Look at me. I'm just having
But aren't
a
you
ball.
also single? So you should be mingling.
That's what I'm saying.
Guys, I think we've been over this. It's not about me. It's about the singles. Like I'm
But
helping
if
them.
you saw
Look at this.
If
Like,
you
I'm
saw
having a good-
someone that you really wanted to meet, we could jump in there and host, and you could go.
You know what I would ask you guys to do is wingman me and talk me up, because that
Done.
validation, the good people
Done.
know good people.
I'm a great wingman.
Yeah, but let's not give up hope on me. Someday, some poor soul will have to put up with me. But
We will pray for them.
let's switch gears here, guys. Oops. Let's talk about before you got into, because home insurance is a completely big industry. Let's start with Dezirea. Before you were in insurance, and this is something you and I talked about, and we loved it. Well, I loved it. We were both in healthcare. Tell me, before healthcare, was there anything else you did, or how did healthcare transition into insurance?
I retired from healthcare and became a housewife, and my husband sold cars.
That's right.
And I, not by any fault of my husband's, it's just part of being a housewife, felt very isolated. I wanted to talk to adults.
Right.
And he had to call someone for insurance with every deal. And so I was able to do that from home and help him and all of his car buddies. And that's kind of where it started. And it just kind of grew from there. And I was able to retire him from the car industry. And he's now an insurance agent with me.
That's right. So
Full circle moment.
well, I was going to say, they always say, Des, you shouldn't work with your partner. So the fact that you and your husband are working together so far, I mean, you guys, they're still alive. They haven't wrung each other's necks yet. So we'll give it time. But if you go missing, I think I know who I'm looking for. I'm just
Yeah. No, we work really well together.
Yeah.
And we've done it both ways. I mean, I helped him quite a bit when he was selling cars and I was a housewife. I can't just sit still. I ran his social media and
yeah.
And you put on a blood drive.
Did you really put
I
on a
think
blood drive?
that might be the first place we met. Yes, I try to do blood drives quarterly. I haven't done one for a while. I need to do one.
I actually became friends with one of the guys on the bus that was there, and now he's a client of mine. And now that they opened opened office right behind my house.
That's perfect.
So now I can literally walk to Vitalant to give him my blood.
You're kidding. No, that's great.
I like the blood drives. It's a huge need in our community, especially, we both come from healthcare. We know
do.
how valuable that is to have blood on site.
Oh gosh, my friends will tell you that
Donating in the bus is way better though, because they got way better snacks.
And the chairs are really comfortable and they keep it like the heat and AC is
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, it's nice.
I miss health. I miss the people I worked with. I don't miss the work though, and the stress and the responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm super happy and content, and I've been blessed in real estate.
You can't
Okay.
pay me to go back.
Yeah, BJ, how before insurance? What were you doing?
Before I was in insurance, I was in school at Eastern Washington University,
What were you studying?
communications and community organization. And then when I graduated from Eastern, I realized that there was like no jobs for like communications degrees. Yeah. And so I decided that I would start an adult kickball league.
So you were throwing events before you had even gone into insurance.
Yeah. And so I actually flew across the country to Washington, D.C. to apply to be a organizer at World Adult Kickball Association that's based out of Washington, D.C.
Wow.
To run kickball tournaments. I decided that I wanted to like live a normal life and not travel around the country putting on kickball tournaments.
Yeah.
Well, at one of my kickball events, Allstate agent actually approached me and asked if I would run their social media and community events. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm not really getting paid by just running kickball tournaments every day.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I ended up being the office manager at that Allstate agency. And then I got licensed and started actually participating in the day-to-day insurance portion of insurance. And then I became an independent agent with an agency out of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And then I started my own agency in 2022.
Dude, that's awesome. That's amazing.
So it's been been a weird journey for me.
It's been a roller coaster for you.
From going from putting on kickball games to owning an insurance agency.
Well, the good thing is you still put on your kickball events.
I do, and one of the main reasons that I think that I am successful is because I'm able to network through those kind of outside the box things, right? Like there's always networking events where you get to go and have lunch and have breakfast and you get to talk to people. But a lot of times those are so isolated because you can only sit by so many people. You can only go talk to so many people. Yeah. But when we're in a game environment,
it changes things.
It changes things. It also makes it a little bit different as interaction, right? I can tell if you're a competitive person or if you're not a competitive person by the way you kick a kickball, right?
Well, and you get to know someone on a personal level, which helps build the relationships, which 100%. Is the best thing about networking.
And I agree.
I think that kickball is one of the reasons that I have become successful in the insurance industry.
No, I totally agree. And I think you guys would agree. The more you give back, I feel like the more I get back. I mean, that's what I don't know if you're religious, but I do believe in karma. And that's what I've been noticing, at least in my experience.
Have you read The Go-Giver?
Not yet. Do you recommend it?
Absolutely.
Yes. Have you read The Go-Giver?
Yes.
And The Go-Giver Leader.
Well, thank you. I'm going to add that to my list. Every time I get a recommendation, it's been supported by 2 people. I have no excuse not to read it.
You'll like it.
Yeah. And I trust you, and I don't know about you.
And it's on Audible, so you can do it while you're on the treadmill.
Oh, so I can do it while I'm on the treadmill? Well, you know what that's going to mean? It means I'm not Okay, guys, let's switch gears. Let's start with BJ. You'll go first this time.
Okay.
Tell me what you love and enjoy about being an insurance broker. What do you enjoy about being an insurance broker?
Well, what I enjoy most about the insurance industry is just being able to help educate people on what they need and what it's going to do for them in the event that they need it. And the reason is that nobody ever asks me what their premium is when their house is on fire.
Right.
They want to know if their home is going to be taken care of. And that's how I lead my agency, is that we may not be the cheapest. Actually, more than often, we're not the cheapest. But what we are trying to do is make sure that you understand what you need and why you're going to have what we present to you.
Well, I'm not skipping you, Des, but let me chime in there. Sometimes you don't want the cheapest. You know, the cheap. I hate to say, oh, you weren't covered, or oh, we don't. That's not enough. So being cheap is always a good thing. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that.
Being cheap is great.
Being the cheapest is sometimes not the best title.
Yeah, right. Like
it's always a bonus when you can be the cheapest.
It's great to have an inexpensive product, right? And being an independent agent, I have a better opportunity to have an inexpensive product than a lot of other companies, right? Because I have 33 different companies that I work with that we can get a rate back from.
Yeah,
and so that's beneficial, but the thing is that some of those carriers, they might be cheaper, but I'm not going to recommend them to somebody that has a high value property, right? There's certain things that, you have a cheap rate, but there's no extended replacement on the property, right? There's every different carrier has different lines.
They have their strengths and weaknesses.
And making sure that you are placing consumers somewhere where they're going to be well taken care of in the event that they do need their insurance is really, really important.
Oh, I love it.
And I would rather tell you, Oscar, it seems like we're probably not going to be the best fit for you today.
Oh, no.
Maybe Dezirea is going to be a better fit for you. But at the end of the day, that makes me feel a lot better, even though I don't earn the business, because I made sure that you got what you needed at a price you can afford.
No, and I would appreciate that. Someone like, hey, I can't work with you, but I would recommend this person. That's great. And even though you guys are competitors, look, there's going to be some things you can do, she can't, vice versa.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
And I love this, our little not referral, but like, hey, she's a good fit, you're a good fit. I enjoy that.
That would be the definition of a referral.
I think you're right. Yeah. Womp womp. I messed up. Let's go to, thank you. That was a great answer. Dezirea, what do you love about being a home insurance broker?
I mean, Brett said it really well.
Hey, don't steal his answer. That's plagiarism.
You let him go first.
I did let him go. Because I've been letting you go first so many times.
No, it really is nice to be able to educate people and help them understand what their options are and make an educated decision on their own.
Yeah.
My job is not to sell. My job is to serve and provide.
Right.
And if I can do that, I'm doing my job. And I refer out, Country Financial is not going to be the best for everyone. But when they are, it's really great. And if we're not, then I want to make sure that the client is taken care of at the end of
Yeah.
the day. So
And how long
it's
have
very
you been
similar. And
in
it's how I
insurance?
meet people. So that's my other thing is, like I said, I was a housewife when I started, right? And so I was able to really meet new people. And then when I started working for Bruce, which is a whole other thing, but that's when I learned how to turn my natural social life into business and become a business networking person. And that's how I've made my friends over the last 6 years. So it's been pretty amazing.
And that was my next question. How long have you been in the industry? Insurance industry.
It'll be 7 years in June.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. And then you?
16 years, June 4th.
You're killing
That's
it.
a long time.
Good job. So you must have seen everything.
I've seen a lot of stuff.
You've seen a lot. 16 and
I've had kids get accidentally ran over by their grandparents. I've had several shootings, officer-involved shootings, house fires, cars backed into a lake. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff.
cars
know a
back.
thing or two because you've seen a thing or two.
Yeah. How do you explain the car backed up into your lake?
Well, it was really unfortunate because he had not actually paid his premium since the previous December, and this was in about July. It is a $60-something thousand Dodge pickup,
So-
and he backed it into the lake.
So was he under the influence?
He was not. He was just not a very smart guy.
So number one, his insurance lapsed.
Yeah,
Number
Ouch.
2, he backed it up into a what?
into a lake.
That's a double.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
it was really, really unfortunate.
Well, I'm sure he's on it now with his insurance.
Yeah, probably.
That's
Hopefully.
good.
That's hurtful to get those calls though, because we want to help
Yeah,
people. And
totally.
when we get a call and we're like, we can't file the claim, it sucks for us.
So we're gonna switch now. The flip side, what do you hate or dislike about being an insurance broker? So because I don't want to
Trying to
step
get
on
us
your
in trouble.
Yeah, no, Dezirea, you can go first. Since
Don't do that.
Well, hey, you said you let him go first, so I yield the floor. What do you dislike about being a home insurance broker? Or sorry, I keep saying home insurance. What do you dislike about being an insurance broker?
I dislike all the things that we cannot control that we get yelled at for.
Yeah, I'm sure, and especially recently.
Yeah. Getting calls like that where we can't cover it. I had a person call and he wanted to file a claim and his deductible was $10,000 and he had no idea. The agent that wrote it never told him, and it was a $7,000 claim. So
That's a rough one.
that was rough. Yeah.
BJ,
That's what I hate.
what do you dislike about being an insurance broker?
Like Desiree had said, the things that are out of our control is really difficult to navigate, and us being consumer facing, it is a lot of that falls to us. The frustrations of consumers, and you got to know that we're also consumers of the product, right? And so we understand the frustration not only from our side but also from the consumer side.
Yeah.
And that's where it's difficult to help consumers understand. Desiree doesn't come up with the rate, right? I don't come up with the rate. I don't come up with.
I would hope not, because
I don't come up with the underwriting guidelines. One thing that's come up a lot in the last 2 years is fire ratings, right? And that's a big concern for a lot of people in our area.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, my home is not a fire risk. Well, it's not that you specifically are a fire risk. It's that your area is considered a fire risk, and the insurance companies are not willing to participate in the marketplace in that area.
Yeah.
And it
And
goes off statistics. We
and
have
it's-
zero control over that.
they're like, well, why can't you call into the carrier and tell them that I have sprinklers around my house? Well, that kind of thing doesn't matter when it comes to underwriting guidelines. And sometimes it's difficult to get that across to the consumer base, just because it doesn't make sense to us as consumers, right? If I go to Best Buy and I want to buy a TV.
'Kay.
That TV costs $10,000.
'Kay.
I say, okay, here's my $10,000.
Okay.
They'll give me the TV.
Okay.
Right. So that's us as consumers. We think that we can just go and buy anything.
Out the door.
Right.
Yeah.
I have the money.
Here it is.
Give me the product.
Yep.
Right. Well, in
Supply and demand.
insurance,
Simple.
in the insurance industry, it's not like that. Right. It's here's my 10 grand. Would you consider taking on my property as risk? Nope, we're not going to do it. And that's where it's confusing to consumers is that we can't just say I want it and buy it.
Right.
And it's all a risk factor, and different carriers and different products consider those risks on a different level.
Well, and so not to carry into the topic, but a lot of carriers have left California, and look what happened. Now they're like, we have nobody else. We're going to mandate. It's like I'm a firm believer in free markets, right? But when when government's telling businesses what to do, it's gonna skew a bit, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious. What's going on in California, especially with all these fires?
Well,
I don't write in California.
I also don't write in California. California is actually restricted to agents that carry a current resident license in the state of California. So neither one of us are eligible to write in the state of California currently. But the insurance market in the state of California is in shambles.
Yeah.
And there's several different reasons that people could blame it on, right? You could blame it on fire mitigation, fire reduction practices by the state government. You could say that it's, the insurance commissioner of the state of California restricting how much insurance companies can increase their premiums year over year. There's several different things that calculate into that. But at the end of the day, insurance is a business, and the factors in the state of California make it so that insurance is not a profitable business for the majority of the insurance carriers. And that means if you can't be a profitable business, you can't be a business.
Totally. And that's any industry.
Yeah. If you run a toy store and you can't make any money because nobody buys
aren't
toys,
selling, right?
then you go out of business, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in the state of California, which is a huge impact on consumers, right?
Yeah.
I have a friend, and his parents still live in California. They had an insurance policy, and it was $4,800. Well, they got their renewal last year. They're considered in a high fire risk zone. Their new premium is $38,000 a year.
You're 38,000 divided by 12. What is that? Like
a lot.
Over $1,000 just in homeowners insurance.
Well, it's
Over $2,000.
It's like
Over
$3,000, right?
Yeah.
36 would be
Close to-
3,000.
Jeez, that's
So like $3,500 a month, $3,200 a month.
that's a lot of dinero.
I don't
and,
math in my head.
and they have a nice, beautiful home in Southern California on the coast, and it's awesome. But
You pay more in tax and insurance
Than
than you do
insurance,
on your
yeah.
mortgage.
yeah, it's just crazy, and it's gonna be very frustrating
Oh, I know.
moving forward.
I know. Let's stay away from California. Let's keep it local.
Yeah.
Plan on
And that
staying
was
away
me. Well, that was me because I wanted to
Not-
touch base, but
Hey, but I'll be there on Saturday.
oh no, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
only for like a couple hours.
For fun.
I'm jumping on a cruise ship.
Oh yeah. See, that's not.
Well, I hope you have insurance. I'm just kidding.
I have insurance on myself. I have insurance on my trip. Huge fan of insurance.
Let's keep it Washington. What's up with all these? I was showing a property up in Kettle Falls. In Kettle Falls, like even though we're up against the Pend Oreille River, it's still considered a fire zone. What's up with that?
Go ahead.
It's considered a fire zone.
It's
just-
history,
it just
right? You have to
baffles
look
me.
at the fires that have happened and how quickly they spread. And without getting too controversial, there are things that our local government could do to help mitigate these fires, like cleaning up in the forest, and keeping the debris clear. And then the fires wouldn't spread so quickly and drastically, and it wouldn't be such a fire zone. So
I see. Okay, so it's a little bit of management then.
Well,
it's
and
a lot of bit of management.
It's management. It's also fire districts, volunteer fire departments in comparison to manned fire departments. All of those things are taken into consideration when creating a risk.
Yeah.
And in Kettle Falls, you're just not in a position where there's many options for you.
No, unfortunately, there isn't. But it is what it is. It's just, take it from me, guys. I'm a real estate agent. Homeowners insurance is so high today than it was years ago.
Is that a Snoop Dogg?
Literally, yeah. literally, not my premium, but the buyer's premium depends on making or breaking the deal. Now, can we afford this house? I mean, I just put down my down payment, my earnest, my inspection, my appraisal. Now, can I afford the monthly premium? So what should a home buyer do in that case? Just shop around, or what do you guys recommend?
Absolutely shop around. And I always suggest to people that I know are looking for a home to check your insurance, especially places out like that are a little more rural and they can cost more in insurance, and shopping and seeing what options you have. Because like we said, the carriers are all different. One carrier, like Country Financial, for example, we have homes that are out in those outskirts that we don't charge an insane amount to be out there. We're able to accept those higher risks. But another carrier, they're like, ooh, that's a fire score 9. We're going to charge them so much money that they don't want to buy it. So they're not outright denying it, but they're making it so expensive. There's no way that someone could buy it. I actually had a client lose their house because the insurance cost more than their mortgage.
You're just proving my point, because the lender always says, hey, this is my estimate, but I don't know what your insurance is. Go shop around.
Right. And when they put together their proposal, they're putting in, I think your homeowner's insurance is going to be this. Well, then it comes back 3-4 times higher, and they're like,
hey,
never mind.
that's not what I was.
Well, and not to go too hard on the mortgage industry, but they're trying to get people into loans, right?
Absolutely.
And so
absolutely.
I have seen some come across my desk that have told their client that the insurance is going to be $60 a month.
Oh.
In today's market, that's 25% of what it actually is going to cost.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
If you tell somebody that their home insurance in today's market in our area, it's going to be $600 a year.
And then
wrong.
they call us and they're mad at us because we lied to them.
Yep, because somebody told them information, and now I tell them their home premium is actually $2,500, and they're like, "Well, my mortgage lender says it's only going to be $600."
So you have a client disagreeing with the insurance guy what their insurance is going to be.
Yeah. Well,
but a good mortgage lender will set good expectations and tell them, hey, you need to go get this
100%.
quoted. Like
100%.
Some mortgage lenders even have them do that while they're waiting for that mutual acceptance.
Right.
Go ahead. But when that happens, then we become the bad guy twofold, right?
Absolutely.
Because they were told that this is what their monthly mortgage payment is going to be, and now we've just added $200 a month to that.
Right.
And
they have to have it.
Well, now can they afford to do $200 a month? Is their DTI too close?
Right.
So they're not going to qualify. Do they not have the closing, the amount of money required for closing at this point? All those things come into play. And so making sure that, we do our best to help educate mortgage and real estate professionals in the current insurance market is really important for both of us.
Yeah.
Because if consumers come to us and they're in the expectation that the premium is going to be significantly lower, it's a very frustrating situation for them. And I don't know about Dezirea, but I have actually been the person to tell 3 different clients in 2024 that they were not going to buy the house because of the insurance. And that is a really terrible position to be in, because
that's a tough pill to swallow.
Frankly,
I had to
because not
say that too.
My agent, not my lender, but my insurance broker is telling me. I mean, with good faith, good reason. I'm not.
Yeah.
But hearing that news,
one of those clients was one of your clients.
Actually, I was going to bring him up because we got a funny story, Des. We'll tell you. But no, I agree. That's a tough pill to. That for me would be a tough. Something I would dislike about being an insurance broker. I'm sorry.
Well, it never happened before 2 years ago.
So this is fair.
2 years
that
ago.
was twice last year, and I had never had that happen prior.
Okay.
But I mean, last year, the fires that happened the year prior really changed the rates and changed the risk factors and what carriers were going to cover where and for how much. And so, it really did change, and that was the first time for me.
When I first got into insurance, I was at Allstate, right? The average home premium was $613 at that time.
Yeah.
It's not anywhere near that now.
Jeez,
Right?
613.
It's over $2,500 in the state of Washington.
That's ridiculous.
And so, and it used to be if somebody called and was like, "Hey, Brett, I need to get insurance." Okay, doop, 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 doop. Here's the premium.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Perfect. They're on their
Okay.
way. It was never, well, we need photos of the front yard. We need photos of the backyard. We need to make sure that every tree is limbed up to 6 feet. We need to make sure all the grass is down.
The pool.
The fireplace. We need to make sure that the pool has an automatic cover. Like all these different things. And me being with as many carriers as I am, for example, Nationwide has like 37 different things that they require to get an accurate quote.
Jeez.
Well, how are you going to get an accurate quote with a photo of the hot water tank when the consumer doesn't own the home?
Right.
Right? How are you going to get...
And that's just to get a quote.
That's just to get a quote, which then they go, oh, yeah, never, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Right? And so... So today's market is significantly different from when I got into the industry in the aspect that there are people now that cannot buy insurance.
And it's sad and unfortunate,
Which is something that when I got into insurance is never something that I thought I would say.
Yeah.
Which, can you believe?
They're cracking down on claims. They're cracking down on credit. They're making it, they're dialing in who they want their clients to be based on their risk factors.
And that's totally understandable from the business side, right? Like, I don't want to invest and dole out more than they're putting in.
Right.
Well,
we want to help everyone. So it's
for,
hard.
For example, Allstate in 2023 operated at 1.41 loss ratio, which means for every dollar that they earned, they paid out $1.41.
So they were losing money.
They lost a ton of money. And now it reflects in their premium increases.
But unfortunately, guess who it affects now? The
Everyone.
other consumers. So it's a double L for everyone. Because now, I have great credit, right? I'm over 800. I don't file a ton of claims. I mean, last year, you were my accident guy. By the way, he's great. Pick up the phone, call. Hey, man, I know I have insurance, but I don't have it on me. Send it over right now. And then you know what BJ says? Are you okay? And I'm like, bro, I'm fine. I'm like, hey, I'm fine, man. Just send that over right now. So thank you for answering your phone and sending that within the first 5 minutes I called you. So it's super. It's nice having BJ on and you're great too. My clients loved you. So let's go into quotes, because something I don't like, and you and I have story, and I know you're going to have stories. You guys work really hard for your clients, and it drives me as your partner agent mad when they shop around and go somewhere else after you put in all that time, hard work. Des, let me tell you a quick story. So last year, I have this client I'm working with. Has to be out in the country. He's like, absolutely land, nothing else. Okay, well, guess what comes with land? More fire hazard opportunities. So he picked one he liked. Was a mobile. It was a single or a double wide. It was one of those.
Single.
But again, fire zone. So Brett, I was like, hey, this is my insurance guy. He's great. He'll take care of you. Long story short, Brett put in all this time and money only to get yelled at by my client. I had a good talk with him. I was like, hey, man, he's a part of my team. He was just helping you. Well, his insurance was too high, and he said it's a fire zone. I'm like, go check with any other. If Brett says that, I guarantee 99% somebody else is going to tell you the same thing, only to get yelled at. And then he ended up shopping somewhere else. You had a lender who sent you a client, did the same thing. Yeah. Probably not the yelling, but.
Yeah. Your client, he had multiple different concerns, right?
Yes.
There was a detached structure that was leaning over. Oof. There was like an awning on the front of the house that was starting to collapse.
But regardless, there's no reason to be
the house.
There was no reason to be rude to you.
Yeah, he was really frustrated with the situation. I don't think he specifically was frustrated with me.
But he took it out on
He took it out on me because
I was in that phone call.
Because I was the person telling him, like, this is. I think the premium that we had was like $8,200.
Yeah, and I think it was
$175,000 house or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's just like, this is not good for you, right? I understand that you want to live in the country. I understand you want to live at this property, but unfortunately, the way this property is set right now, there's two options for insurance. There's the FAIR plan through Washington State, which
Covers nothing.
Is an absolute nightmare.
Oh, you mean a state provider program didn't help?
Covers
Did
nothing.
I say that out loud?
And an absolute nightmare
Wild.
to navigate. Or $8,200.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, no. Yes. Like,
I love when clients argue with you, the insurance professional.
Every day, at least one.
like I don't know what to tell you, but that's the answer. And I understand it's frustrating, and I wish there was a better solution, but there's not.
Yeah.
And-
Unfortunately.
And that's difficult. Again, it comes back to
You're
consumers.
the messenger, not
right?
the...
If I have the money and I get approved for the loan, why can't I buy the property?
Yeah, exactly. I did everything right, and now I can't afford it. What? I can understand them getting frustrated.
Totally. And it's frustrating for us too on the other side, right? Because like Dezirea had said, that she likes to help people.
Right.
And when we're trying to help people and this is the only solution that there is, I know it doesn't seem like help, but it's the best help we can provide.
I love it. The other quick story, because we're leaving her out, that lender client, I think you gave her like 6 quotes for 6 different properties. And I'm not an insurance person, but I imagine that takes time. How much time does it, on average, take you guys to give an estimate?
Well, she again was shopping in a rural area.
Similar story.
Similar situation.
Those ones are a lot more work.
So there's essentially 3 carrier options for the risks that she was looking at, which essentially each one of those carriers probably takes me anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, dependent, on specific
So
questions.
30 to 40 minutes. And guys, they're not hourly. They work off commission. So every deal they close, they get paid.
So I probably...
And commissions are small. People seem to think we get paid a lot.
Oh,
of
yeah,
money.
I heard- I had
Commissions are so small.
I'll finish this one, but essentially she had sent me 6 different properties to quote. So I spent several hours helping her and helping educate her. And she decided that she would just go online and buy a Progressive policy, which I
those are the
know
worst.
You, you can relate?
I know that it will cancel
They cut out
within.
agents.
Oh, I see.
And so back to the commission part, I had a client recently called me and they were like, they thought that we get paid 80%
Oh my god.
of the commission.
Wow.
Do you know why? It's on social media.
Like I was
There
like,
are social media videos, and I believe they come from Progressive that say, "Oh, cut out the middleman and save 80%." I'm like, where are you getting paid 80%? Because I'm with the wrong carrier.
I was just saying, I'm in the wrong
dang.
industry.
well, I when that person told me that, I was like, that's 100% not the case. Carrier commissions are anywhere between
5 and 12%.
4 and 13. Some of the carriers have, and the thing is a lot of people have seen, oh, my rates have gone up, but they don't see on our side that the carriers also reduce the commissions. So like, for example, Nationwide cut their agents' commissions in 23 from 12 to 10 and in 24 from 10 to 8.
Wow.
So,
Which it makes a big difference overall. Huge difference.
and when you're running a business as well, you have to realize that, there's overhead and there's expenses and things like that. And that also calculates into,
25% of that goes straight to taxes.
calculating just that
Employees.
information, 8% doesn't even pay the 8% that I collect from Nationwide is less than what I pay my team. I'll leave it there.
You're a business owner. You always get paid last. Which, 80%, I don't know where they're getting that number, but holy smokes.
It's a sales tactic. Someone thought that they were going to make people mad and push them into Progressive, but I can tell you, having people come to me that bought direct Progressive, I had a client pay double just to have an actual real live agent and not sit on hold for 4 hours.
So they didn't win. Nothing. They didn't save anything. They paid more. And like I said, I love you guys because you guys actually answer your phone. If I'm calling Progressive,
Is that wild that you get that complaint all the time? My agent
Dude.
never answers their call. It drives me crazy. Like, I want to find who these agents are.
It does. Well, again, I'm not.
It works for me, right?
Yeah,
Because I
because
answer my phone.
it makes you stand out. It makes you shine. But I mean, you guys are no different than us. Just answer your phone, and you'll.
Oh yeah, 100%, right? And for me, it also makes me a little salty about other industries about how quickly I answer my phone because
Right?
like
We have a standard.
I'll call someone and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I've been on the hold for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
What are you even doing right now?
Yeah.
What is more important than me right
This
now?
is the job, right? You're supposed to take my call.
You're supposed to, right? But that's why, like, you call these big name insurance companies. You're just a number. And again, you know better than I do, but like, I'm waiting and waiting to speak to a rep.
The crazy
somewhere
thing
out-
is that happens to us when we call the carriers too.
But that's why,
Yeah.
But that's why, like, me as your client, I call you, hey, take care of this. And then you're like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I love it. I
and
love
then
it.
we do the holding.
Yeah,
for
because
you.
I don't want to. Well,
I actually have a funny story about
oh, wait, hold on. You got to. What's your story?
I was working with a carrier the other day and it was like, we're experiencing longer than expected wait times. And so I was at home with my wife and I was like, all right, well, let's watch Lost. And I was like, do you think the episode of Lost will end or they'll call me back first?
What was it?
We watched 1.5 episodes of Lost before I got my call back.
You can watch. Did you hear that?
So
You can watch
frustrating.
an episode, almost 2 episodes, and call who? Well, let's just be respectful. But you can call a big name insurance company, and then they'll answer. Wow, that's crazy. That's nuts. So we asked you what you guys like, dislike. Let's switch gears here. I have a couple videos I want to watch with you guys. So let's pull up the first one. So this, see if this is the one, because I had, oh no, it's not this. Actually, let's watch this one first. This is, oh, sorry. Do you guys need to take off one earbud?
I can hear it.
Oh, you guys can hear it? Can you hear it okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's,
Whenever I feel like quitting the insurance industry, I remind myself that 90% of insurance agents are greedy and shady and don't care about their clients. And y'all need me.
It's true.
so you
I
guys
tried to
kind of,
leave the insurance industry.
you guys literally just said A, the phone call, and then B, the 80%. But what'd you guys think about that video?
It's accurate.
I'd like to give people more credit than that. But when the shoe fits, right?
If the shoe fits. All right, give me a second here. Let me find that. Oh, here we go. Now I found my video. So this is, give me a second here. Okay, so before we watch this video, I want you to, because you're going to talk about it in your terms, but I want you guys to see this video and see, is it accurate or is it not accurate? You tell me. You ready?
If it's on this, it's
And by the way,
probably
there's
accurate.
no audio, or there's no, yeah,
It's
exactly.
on the internet. It must
Well,
be true.
it's proving her point. Remember, she said people are watching these videos, save 80%. It's not always the case.
Yeah,
So this guy doesn't talk. It's just all words. So you got to pay attention. Here we go. I'll watch it one more time just because it's so fast. So, broker versus insurance. I'm sorry, broker versus agent. Desiree, is that accurate?
I mean, agents still work for the clients.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's.
That's very
Not a-
misleading.
I don't think that's a very good video to determine what agent does compared to a broker. And I wouldn't say. So I would say I'm an independent agent.
Okay. What?
she's-
How
I'm
would? You,
captive.
And she's a captain.
and she's capped. So
We're
let's.
both agents. We just have different options available to us for what we can offer our clients.
And that's why I was being very careful because I've called you guys brokers.
He's a
So-
broker.
But see, exactly.
I
so
have brokered options, but because
Yeah,
I'm
you guys have
captive, I'm
probably-
required to go through country first.
Yeah, you guys probably have 2 or 3 different options that are secondary.
can you be
after.
closer to the
Right.
mic? Closer to the mic.
You probably have a couple options after you go through Country Financial. So,
Right.
and to be
I don't
hon-
have 33.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Well, I do, depending on what it is. But yeah,
But every different, every captive agent that I know has secondary markets.
Okay, so let's
Right?
talk about that.
So-
Captive versus, what was it, broker?
Independent.
Okay. Or independent, thank you. So
Insurance
captive
terminology.
Well, no,
Lesson
and
101.
that's what I'm here for. As a
Dude,
guy who's
get it
passionate, as a guy who's passionate, and because BJ, he knows how much I love insurance. Captive versus independent. You kind of hinted at it. What's the difference?
Well, at a captive agency, they need to go through their product lines primarily.
So, like she said,
Right,
she
so
has to go through country financial.
And just like when I was at Allstate, we went through Allstate.
Okay.
And then if Allstate was not a good fit, we would have National General or Encompass,
Yeah.
which are two Allstate branded companies, but they're not Allstate,
Okay.
right? And so that's
The thing about being captive and having country financial, that's our primary focus. We have to start there. As long as they fit those products, that is the best rate. It's the best coverage, the best rate. It's the secondary market when country won't take it. For example, you mentioned manufactured homes. Those are hard to find insurance for. So with country financial, we can take manufactured homes even in the high fire risk if they're on a permanent continuous foundation. If they're not on the foundation that's required, then we
Yeah.
have those secondary markets and they can still be a very competitive rate. But if they would have had the right foundation to fit in country, that's going to be the best option for them.
I see. So it just, it sounds like it's case by case,
and
right?
really no different for us as independent agencies, right? We have our primary products that we would prefer our clients to fit in.
Yeah.
Because of what they offer.
Because of the coverages that they offer, claims experiences, all different reasons that the companies that are our primary, those are the ones we're going to go to first. And if they don't fit the parameters of those other those carriers, then we're going to go into secondary markets where maybe it's like she said, a manufactured home. Maybe it's in a fire zone. Maybe it's a high value home, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
and sometimes the secondary market is better for the client, like the high value home. It might be cheaper to go into this other area where they are able to offer, like he mentioned earlier, the extended replacement cost. You have to be very specific in being able to offer that. And you don't want to give your client an actual cash value policy. That's terrible. We can talk about that for days. But when you're looking at two quotes and you're like, well, this one's cheaper and it's actual cash value. This one costs a little bit more, but they've got higher value on the home and it's extended replacement costs. We're going to put them here and we're going to explain to the client why we want you here. We want you to pay a little bit more, not for me, because my commission's extremely low. It's for you.
Well, that's exactly what you guys said. It's all about that communication, educate. And fortunately, that's what you guys love to do. Because me as a consumer, I'm like, BJ, why are we going for the more expensive one? Let's go with the cheap one, man. I'm paying my bills in this economy. I'm trying to save for a dozen eggs here. Why would I go for the?
You got to get land with chickens.
and that's a conversation that has to be had, right? If the consumer decides that, I don't need the protection, they can make that choice.
But it's our job to educate them
against
what
my
they do.
recommendation,
I agree.
right?
Yeah.
But that's how we just have to navigate those to make sure that the people that are going to be more price sensitive, we acknowledge that and we educate them on what could happen in the event that they do have a claim.
Speaking of that, I have just a random question. Have you guys ever fired clients before?
100%.
You have fired? Because
Absolutely.
he was alluding to if they're super pricey and I'm probably not a good fit. Is that what you guys think?
I'm not usually one to fire a client over any kind of price situation. I have recently fired a client, and the reason is that they were extremely rude and vulgar to one of my team members.
Oh, to your teammate.
Yeah, so
We take it if it's us, whatever, right? But
Well,
if
we have a duty to our employees and
Right,
ourselves, right?
right.
Like if
I agree.
people can be rude to me and I can handle it to a certain extent. Like there's a line.
what? Be rude to Des? No. Who wants some? We're throwing
But
fists.
when you have your employees that you're looking out for, there's a whole other level of protection, right? Like your kids. You have kids, and if people are mean to you, they say mean things about you, you're like, whatever. But if they say that to your kid,
Mama Bear's coming out.
Mama Bear's coming out.
I get it.
But
Yeah.
yes, we've had to fire clients for sure.
and I actually don't even give them the option to stay with me. I have a pre-filled out agent of record transfer. So all the carriers that I work with, I can sign your agent of record transfer form, which means I can tell you who your new agent is, or you can make a choice and get an agent of record form signed by yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will just transfer you to a different agency.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
I'll tell my client, this is not a good fit and
Yeah.
you need to find another agent.
No, that's great.
I will not be talked to like that.
In real estate, I've never had to fire a client, and let's keep it that way. And I've only lost one client to a new builder. Go figure. Our process is it just has to be in writing. Hey, we're terminating our agency, our relationship. Have a great, good luck.
Yep.
For you, you're saying you have to fill out a record of transfer. What'd you call it?
Agent of record.
Agent
transfer.
of record. Okay, that sounds super simple.
It means
But
they can keep their policy.
They
They're
can
just
keep their
getting
policy.
a new agent
They
to
just
coordinate
they
with.
just won't have it with me.
so you won't get commission off that.
Doesn't really matter.
At that point, it doesn't
It's
matter.
worth it,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's worth it. The headaches.
Money is not worth being
Right.
treated like crap, especially your employees, right? Like we want to keep our employees. It's a hard market right now to hire. So if you have an employee especially a good employee,
a good
you wanna
employee who
take care
enjoys
of
insurance.
them.
I would be a great employee. I just don't like insurance.
Nobody likes insurance.
I'm so glad you said that. And BJ, I vented to him plenty of times. I hate insurance. Oh, did I mention number one? I don't like insurance.
I mean, everybody hates the only people that like insurance are the ones that are buying the life insurance where you get cash value back. And they still are not huge fans, but they're at least getting some money back.
They're the ones bringing in that dough, right? But I think BJ,
I'm
you
gonna be
told
so rich when I die.
Oh, I'm on that will, right? Uncle Oscar. Anyways, I think you told me, BJ, I understand you don't like insurance. You hate it. Try finding people, try getting people to talk about insurance is the hard, like that's your guys' obstacle because 10 people in a room, 9% of us don't like insurance. So how are you going to convince us to get to work with you without knowing you? Obviously, I know you guys. I would work with you in a heartbeat, but how do you strike up that? Typically, they come to you though, right? Because you guys are at a
No.
point, or you're still getting.
I mean, maybe at a brokerage, but no.
Yeah, I have tons of people come to me all the time, but I've been doing this for 16 years, as well as I'm active on social. So my network of just my referrals of my current clients is massive.
Yeah.
Right. I'm licensed in like 19 states. So I get leads from Colorado almost every day, Arizona almost every day.
I don't like that word leads. I call them clients because in real estate we call them.
Prospects. They're not clients,
in
yeah.
real estate they call them leads too, and I'm like, they're not leads. Let's call
Well,
them
the
clients.
problem is that they come from like an online portal or.
Oh,
you
I
know,
see.
where it's
I
just-
see. So yeah.
So I don't even
at
know
that
who-
point,
you
you're
know.
right. You're right.
Once I have a conversation with these people, they get their name put into my cell phone, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's just how I operate, you know. But I get, and I also post on social media 8 times per day across all my platforms.
Do you still do your giveaway? He does giveaways, and I helped him co-host one. That was fun.
I haven't done a giveaway. Well, I've kind of changed how I do giveaways.
Remember your raffle and the hat?
I used to do a raffle. I've done. I did a insurance Rex.
That was fun. Let me be your MC again. I have a resume that I'm a great MC.
But I've done quite a few giveaways, which I enjoy doing that. But I've started going towards like instead of giving you $100, I invite you to come and have brunch with me and my team. Right.
That sounds fun. Your team's happy. That guest is happy.
My team, and we what's the Fete? I think is what it's called.
That restaurant?
is the last one we
I
did.
think it said feet.
Feet.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Someone
Anyway.
told me that. They
Tete.
might have been screwing with me.
Yeah.
It's probably Jay.
Anyways, they have a brunch special that they run like every 5 weeks or
Is
something
that
like
the
that.
endless mimosas?
Endless mimosas.
Did you say endless mimosas? We're there. Let's go.
So
And the food's really good.
yeah, it is actually really
Yeah.
good for being a buffet style meal. I was really impressed with it the last time we went, but we took 16 people, so we rented out we got the entire brunch reservation.
Yeah.
And so my team got to go. We did drawings for people that referred us. So you got entered if you referred us. You got entered if you got a quote. and we ended up being able to take 16
Excuse me,
people.
sir. I've sent you so much business.
And you were
that
probably in the drawing.
Yeah.
Oh, so I was. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, dang. But just my luck. I never win anything. So I'm going to assume I didn't win.
But the next one, you know,
Yeah, next
Get you
one.
in.
Will get me in.
That's a great
She-
idea. That's a
but
cool
I think it's
event.
fun just because
Well-
I get to, you know, a lot of my clients, you know, since COVID, it's not really face to face anymore where people come
Right.
into the office and like you talk to
Right.
people. It's more over the phone, over Zoom, over email, right? So a lot of my clients, I don't actually get to like meet them or interact with them in like a personal atmosphere. It's just strictly business. And for me, the insurance part is great, but I'd like those people to participate in the kickball tournament, right? I'd like those people to participate in a blood drive. I'd like those people to participate in other things that we have going on.
How about
And
first time home buyer? You mentioned you want more in person, says the guy who wants to phone in via Zoom.
I want to do fun in-person things.
Hey, my first time home buyer classes are fun. I don't know.
I
Maybe-
prefer the in-person.
Yeah, she brings her folders. Like she
I don't have folders.
and that's okay.
The folders are pretty cool.
But I'm telling you, and you know, I'm not telling you how to run your business, but it helps me when my people are in person. But I also understand as Saturday was a snowy day, I didn't want to come either.
Some people prefer online too. It's not just
Right,
agents, but
and
I mean
you're right,
like
Des.
the consumer that wants to do the first time home buyer. Some people like to do it from their couch.
Oh yeah, I teach.
I'm just really social.
You're both social
I
in your
teach
own way.
Probably 10 classes a month.
At 20 minutes, more or
At
less,
30 to-
per session.
Yep.
So, yeah. But what you're doing is working, man, because look, 16 years in the industry. How much in real estate, 80 to 90% of agents fail their first year, half of them fail their second year. What's it like for an insurance agent, broker, or independent? Actually, they're probably not independent their first year, so. Or I could be wrong.
People
I don't
that
know the stats on that.
people that fail in insurance within their first year of being licensed is 90%. And
Oh, it's
within-
high. So
and
that's
with-
high.
And within 3 years, it's 60% of the remaining 10.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Like insurance, a lot of people like to think that we just like make all this money and we're just like super loaded and
We're ballers.
you know, and that's fantastic. But when I started my agency, we had $0 in production, right? So what that meant
Like most entrepreneurs who don't
You
have a
still
lot
have
of
to
capital.
pay your rent. You still got to pay your electricity.
and when I left my previous agency, I was the operations manager and I had a pretty good salary and
Yeah.
everything was great. Well, then I was like, I'll start my own with $0.
Yeah.
And my wife is like, well, how are we going to pay our mortgages?
Bro, and that's right there. She stood by your side.
Well,
that's
I guess
the
I'm
real
going to work hard.
That's the real winner. Give it up for BJ's wife for sticking with him as an insurance independent.
W.
Yeah, that's a
and,
win.
And it was super, my wife is a stay-at-home mom. And when I started my agency, I was super fearful that I was going to fail my family.
That's a scary as a father.
Yeah.
I mean, someday, hopefully, I can understand that stress.
Yeah, right.
But as a bachelor, I was like, I have no reason not to go try this career.
You're like, I could live in my car.
I can live on $40, and this is prior to what cost of gas and eggs are today. So
And so
nowadays, I'm like, I don't know, I'd take that leap of faith. But
when I first started, my goal was for myself to write $150,000 worth of insurance myself every month.
and what was your number, if you don't mind us asking?
I averaged $153,000 for my first 12
He
months.
beat his quota. He beat his personal target. Good job, BJ.
And that was it. That's the thing, is it had to be done, right? There wasn't an option for me to not succeed.
Guys,
That's quite the motivation to not have any other choice.
we got 15 more minutes left, so let's almost wrap it up. Here's one more video I really think you guys are going to relate to. So take a look. All right, here we go.
I'm an insurance agent. Of course you're gonna think I'm a spam caller.
I'm an insurance agent. Of course you're going to blame me because your insurance went up.
I'm an insurance agent. Of course you're gonna lie to me that you don't have any tickets or accidents.
Number one.
I'm an insurance agent. Of course you're going to think that my insurance is cheaper than yours.
We are insurance agents. Of course you're the only one who drives 6 cars.
We're insurance agents. Of course we want to be your agent.
I'm an insurance agent.
Thoughts,
That was cool.
comments, concerns.
That's my favorite one of the three.
Yeah. Do you guys disagree, agree, or other, or neutral?
Agreed.
What's
I
Switzerland?
think the majority of those are pretty accurate.
They're pretty accurate because, I mean, I'm not an insurance person by any means, but I'm sure that's what you guys go through.
Well, one thing that I was thinking of as I was seeing that is that, well, my neighbor's insurance is less than this.
Oh, that's a great call.
Oh, that's
We get that one a lot.
you get that too?
Well, my so-and-so drives a 2014 Land Rover and they pay X amount. Okay. Well, that one is worth this much and yours is worth this much. Their credit is here. Your credit is here.
You have a child on your policy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, why would that make a difference?
I think that's funny that your clients think, hey, my neighbor, my friend's getting this, so I should too.
Yeah.
Leaving the other variables like credit.
It happens all the time, right? Like,
And it's always someone with terrible credit
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
3-4 accidents on their record.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
You're a high risk.
Yeah. You know, for the buyer, I mean, in real estate, we call that the champagne taste with the beer budget.
Yeah. I had someone who had 2 DUI, three DUIs in a year. And he was like, that was like 6 months ago. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Let's kind of wrap it up. Anything new, exciting with your businesses? Anything coming up?
for me and my agency, we just had one of our standard carriers that was not operating in the state of Washington opened up as of last Friday.
So what does that mean for consumers? Our rates are going to go down?
No, that's not what that means. But what it does mean is that there's going to be another option as far as coverage.
Oh, I see.
And what that does is creates competition, which could help level
Yes.
the insurance market. I don't like to ever tell anybody that their premiums are going to go down because, especially in this market, because that's just not true.
Yeah.
But to be able to tell people that we might see less than a 10% increase over the entire industry, I feel more comfortable saying that kind of thing as more insurance carriers open up and want to participate in the marketplace.
I hope you're right. I'm crossing my fingers that you're right. Anything new or exciting at Country Financial, your business? What's going on?
Country Financial, we just celebrated our 100-year anniversary. That was pretty amazing. So we went to Dallas and rented out the AT&T Stadium, had a pretty amazing party.
That sounds awesome. And I'm sure it was
really
warmer. Because
Not a whole lot, honestly. It was in the upper 40s, lower 50s.
for those of you outside of Spokane, we just got snow last Saturday. So, well, this young lady is out partying in Texas.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was great.
That was great.
Couple things. One, what do you guys, so you guys have seen insurance industry, that's why I love real estate. It's always changing. You guys have seen your industry change. Where do you think the industry is going to go in the next 2 to 5 years? I don't want to go 10 years because a lot can happen in 10 years, but 2 to 5 years, where are we heading? And if you can keep it in Washington, that would be great.
It's hard to keep it in Washington because the commissioner is about to change.
Is the commissioner changing?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're definitely going to see changes, but until that happens, I mean, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen because we don't know who's going to be calling the shots.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a valid end.
As far as Washington goes.
Yeah.
One thing that I think will happen is that just like earthquake and flood are excluded on home policies currently, I would expect to start to see wildfire excluded and then have to be purchased as a standalone policy.
That would be great.
I would expect to see that probably.
That would be devastating.
Probably, yeah.
Devastating?
It
would
If
be
we
absolutely
excluded- Oh, because then
devastating.
they could say, darn, I wasn't covered, right?
It'll have
Yeah.
it'll have
Gotcha.
a major impact. But I think it's one of the only ways that our state can control the increases of standard home insurance policies by removing wildfire and making that a standalone policy that you purchase separate from your home. Which, like Dezirea said,
it'd be good for someone in the inner city.
at that time if and when that does happen, it's going to have a huge impact on people that live in rural areas. almost exactly the same as it has impacted people in California.
Okay. Well, I hope. Another question. What would you guys recommend? Because you guys do not just homeowners insurance. You guys can still help tenants before they even buy their home, right? So for example, BJ gave me a great tip. Oscar, I recommend your tenants get that renter's insurance before they move in.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I didn't
don't
know
even
that.
give that as an option. I just throw it on there and I tell them, look, you're paying like maybe $5 more a month. To
And
have
that's
renter's
what it
insurance.
is. And it's great for them because if the house were broken into, stolen, whatever, they have something covered too.
Well, they also have their liability, their loss of use. I mean, there's a lot of things that can derail you from being able to buy that house. And your renter's insurance is dirt cheap.
Yeah.
I mean,
And can impact your rate
Yeah.
on your home policy when you decide to go and buy a home.
Speaking of impact rate, question for you guys, because this goes up and down. I think we talked a little bit about it, but it didn't stick. Go figure. Can my credit score impact or affect my insurance premium?
yep.
In the state of Washington, yes.
Yes.
Not
Okay.
with all carriers.
Okay. Not with all carriers.
So during COVID,
Okay.
well, I guess I'll start at the beginning. In 2018, credit was introduced into Washington State into the insurance rating.
Well, hold on. So far, yes, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Credit effects.
2018, credit was put in. During COVID, credit was determined that it was negatively impacting how people could be rated because they lost their jobs, they lost their businesses, their credit tanked, right?
Yeah.
So credit was froze.
Okay.
And then in 2023, credit was unfroze and reintroduced back to all the carriers, and they were allowed to then use credit. Most have introduced credit back into their rating, but they are not required to.
Okay.
But
Which was great.
anyone that is a standard, a carrier that you're going to want to be with is using credit for a rating factor.
They're going to be able to give you the best rates.
Okay. Because I remember, was it 2020,
Best coverage, I
2021?
should say.
I had great credit, but my premium went up. But my friend who had really bad credit, their premium went down. I'm like, this is not fair. And then it's like, you
when they
said-
removed
and
the
it's like
credit,
because they removed the credit rating
and
system.
then it had to level out. Yeah.
Which, I worked
Great
hard
for
for
low
my
credit,
credit
bad
score.
for
That's
high
what I'm
credit.
saying. I
Yeah.
worked hard for my credit, but we're rewarding the,
You got to make it fair for everybody.
you got to make it fair. I don't know. Fair's a
But is that fair though?
bingo. That's
Exactly.
what I was going to say.
I mean, and life happens, right? Like when I went through my divorce with my first husband, I mean, my credit took a huge hit and I had lower
Right,
credit.
yeah.
And it was, that was very largely out of my hands.
Mm-hmm.
But I worked my tail off and I got it back up. And I feel like I should be rewarded for that. And
Yeah.
it
and
is
you should.
unfortunate when someone's credit takes a hit. But there's Credit Fix Joe that can help with that.
So let's talk about that real quick. Do you guys work with credit repair agencies? I know most
do.
lenders do. You do.
I do.
I have
Where-
somebody that I refer to.
Okay. And how does that work? Well, obviously, I kind of answered my question because they're working on their credit. They want to get the best premium, right?
Right.
So where do they go to? They go to you. You're like, hey, right now it doesn't look good, but if I send you to this person, maybe in a couple months, what's the rough average time for them to fix their credit?
Case by case.
Yeah.
What Josh told me, Josh is at Credit Fix Show, and he said majority of the clients he works with, he is done fixing their credit by 6 months.
Which 6 months is better than it trending down. So.
And I mean, 6 months is an auto policy, right? Like if I start someone's auto policy, I'm like, look, your credit is the only thing holding you back right here. Work with this guy. In 6 months, let's re-rate you.
I see. So pay a little bit more now
Well, they don't have a choice. They have to have insurance. So
I see what you
get what you
mean.
can now.
if they wanted to drive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
Well,
also
and you
goes-
don't want to lapse even if you can't drive because that's going to cost you even more money.
So
Yeah.
if you lapse, that
That's-
affects your record too.
Oh, it's a huge risk factor.
might
Is
as well-
it?
You
Absolutely.
should probably expect to pay 50% more.
Not that
Yeah.
I lapse because I got a great broker who takes care of me. But
He stays on you
well, he better be because that's what I pay him for.
I have people
because
that
we get paid 80%.
Oh, that's right. You're rolling in the dough. No,
I have
point.
people that come to me with lapses and they're like, "Well, I sold my car, so I canceled my insurance." Well, that was a bad idea because if you're licensed in the state of Washington, you're required to carry auto insurance.
That's okay. So
Well-
let's flip it the other way. Let's say I sell my vehicle, but I canceled it. Like, why would I keep that insurance?
Well, that's an education thing. It's
Yeah.
because when you go to get insurance again, it's going to skyrocket.
because you're going to have a lapse in coverage.
So you get
So
a
what
broad
should-
form at just the bare minimums just to get you by so
Yep.
that you don't lose that, so you don't lapse.
This is great because I'm learning too. So if I sell a vehicle in Washington, I'm better off keeping. Can I just call you and say, hey, I have it in park, but technically I sold it, and then when I do get a new
I prefer
vehicle,
you didn't lie, but
Yeah.
well, I don't know.
We could get in trouble for that and lose
no,
our
yeah.
license.
What should someone who sells their vehicle do?
well,
It's non-owner broad form.
yeah, and it's
you insure your
situational based,
license.
right? Like if they're like, hey, I sold my car and I'm going to pick up a new car on Saturday. It's okay. Well, we need the VIN number for that car, and we're going to potentially update your policy.
Okay.
If you're like, hey, I sold my car and I'm moving to Jamaica for a year, that's a different story,
Right.
right? And so, and that may even be where they lived out of country, so they didn't need to have insurance. There's all different kinds of things.
Military.
But military, yep. So like
Divorce.
I have
Incarceration.
I have a client that is moving here from China.
I love your clients, by the way.
And he never had auto insurance because he lives in China right now, right? And so he was like, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" And we're able to actually get documentation from his work,
Okay.
and able to submit that to a carrier to show that he wasn't required to carry insurance here.
and that is carrier dependent, by the way.
Exactly, right?
Some
And
carriers won't accept it.
some carriers won't. And in his situation, he does have carriers that he doesn't qualify for because he doesn't have any insurance.
But think of it from the consumer. I just sold my vehicle. You still want me to pay for coverage on a vehicle I'm not using?
Well,
Yes.
we would,
Not on the vehicle, on yourself.
yeah, we would. Again, it's all situational, but yes, if you're gonna be like, I'm not gonna buy a new car for 2 months.
I mean, if it's an elderly person who's never going to drive again, you don't need
Right.
insurance.
What
You're
do
good.
you? Yeah, you're out. I mean, no offense.
But
you're
if
out the
you're
door.
ever going to drive again,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it can be, depending on your
Yeah.
record and your credit, it can be really cheap.
I have some broad form policies in my agency that are like $30.
Yeah.
Actually, I have one in the state of Idaho that's $10.
Yeah.
They're literally paying $68 every 6 months for their auto insurance.
See that
Because
I
if
can-
they didn't, when they came back, they would pay way more than what they paid to just keep it active.
it wouldn't be $68 again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's a great tip for me. I did not know that. I hope you guys heard that too. There was another question I had about insurance. When you sell your vehicle, when you park it, I'm drawing a blank here, but do you guys have any? Let's just wrap it up because we're a little over time. Any final thoughts? Any tips for your homeowners, renters, auto? It's always, I hear this myth. Actually, it's true. You're better off bundling. That's what my broker tells me.
Usually.
Okay.
There are instances like the high value homes where it's not beneficial for them to bundle, right? Because they can get a much better policy. But usually, yes. Usually
Okay.
it's the most beneficial to
Some
bundle.
carriers even require it.
They require
Yeah.
you to bundle? Oh, well.
Yeah, with Country Financial, if you have a landlord policy where you own the home and you rent it out, you have to have your primary residence with Country as well.
I see.
With Progressive right now, and insurance carriers change all the time, but currently in the state of Washington, you are required, if you buy a home insurance policy through Progressive, you are required to purchase an auto policy through Progressive.
And to be clear, that is different than Progressive Direct.
Oh, I did not
Progressive
know
Direct
that.
is two different companies.
Yeah.
see.
Progressive Direct and
So
Progressive
he can
are
write
two.
Progressive. He's an agent. You'll get a real live person. So when we were saying that
Yeah.
it's hard to reach them, and
Yeah.
that's why it's
the
so
800
low.
number.
They're different.
Talking to someone
Yeah.
out of the country. Those are my favorite.
Sitting on hold.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's real easy to buy a policy.
Yeah.
It's really hard to cancel it.
Oof. And then you're
Well-
on hold all the time.
One of the worst things that I've seen recently is people buying home policies online through Progressive for properties that don't qualify. So right now, currently, Progressive is not taking homes that are older than 20 years old. So what that means is these consumers are going online and they're purchasing a policy and they're submitting it to their lender. And then they have an underwriting review period of 90 days and they're getting their policy canceled in that first 90 days and they're back to square one because their home does not qualify.
Jeez.
Which, when you call
Don't
me,
shoot the messenger.
when you call me and talk about that,
That's why you work with a real agent.
I can explain that to you. When you go online, you're like, I need home insurance for 123 2nd Street. You are the underwriter.
It really is very misleading advertising out there.
Yeah. Last question. What do you love about working with your favorite real estate agent? What does he or she do that you really enjoy?
For me, working with real estate agents, the most impactful thing is that we have like a full understanding of where we're trying to get and a goal to be successful for the client.
Yeah.
If a real estate agent's just like, hey, this person needs home insurance, and I just call them and they're like, oh yeah, well, they told me to shop around. They told me that, it's not really a very warm introduction to the client. And when I get cold calls, I'm also hesitant to talk to people, right? So if somebody
I don't believe it.
So if somebody just calls you out of the blue.
I feel like you mess with them if you get a cold call.
If they're more reluctant to have an open conversation about what they need and the education piece, because it's become so transactional, right? This is a phone number, call it, sell it, right?
Yeah.
And that's not the way I run my business. My business is relationship based and making sure that people understand what they need.
And that's totally fair and valid. What do you respect, admire about your favorite partners?
My favorite partners are the ones that just put the clients first, that they're not so worried about their own commission and their own quotas, that they are doing truly what's best for that client. I had one real estate agent, and like I was talking about that foundation thing, well, we had a big mix-up where we had asked about the foundation. They told us it was that continuous concrete foundation because the previous listing agent, not the current one, but the previous one, had put that in their real
listing?
estate, their listing. And so that's how we wrote it. Well, then underwriting was like, no, that's not actually. And so we couldn't insure them. It's like Brett was saying, once it went under underwriting, it was denied. And so we were panicking.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to touch them. They were in a high five. I mean, there's 5 different things. I'm not going to get into the details, but there's 5 different things that nobody local would touch them. And so, while my husband and I are calling anyone we could possibly think of, we finally found an agent in Arizona, of all places,
You're
that
kidding.
could actually cover this home. It was crazy. It was like 3 days where we did nothing but try to find insurance for this person, knowing it wasn't going to be with us. But
your guys' job can get stressful. And I think insurance is like
very
whatever.
stressful.
But
the
yeah,
real
that's a
estate
deadline.
agent, the real estate agent on this one, she was like, I will take my entire commission and I will host fundraisers to get the foundation put in so that they can be insured and not lose their home. So just agents that really put them first. And that's an extreme one, right?
That is an extreme one.
That's an extreme one.
I'm sweating thinking about it.
But that really says a lot about the agent, that, oh my gosh, like, it wasn't her fault. She went off of the listing from the previous agent. I went off that information. I went off of the information presented to me. So it wasn't my fault. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't the client's fault. Really falls on that previous agent
I
that
agree,
put bad
but
information.
it was a Swiss cheese effect.
The problem was that it is a problem. These people need insurance or they're going to lose their loan. They had already closed.
Yeah.
They already lived there for 6 weeks when we found out.
You're kidding.
So it was an emergency, and the whole team, the home inspector, the lender, the real estate agent, myself, my husband, like, we all just came around these people and we're like, we're going to do whatever we have to. Like, if we can't find insurance, because it was hard.
Yeah.
If we can't find insurance, we're going to find you a foundation. And so I had a contract. I had 5 different contractors I was working with that were willing to help. These people, they worked in ministry. And so we had, that whole aspect, like, yes, let's come alongside them and help them. So that's my favorite.
That's an amazing
put their own needs aside to help the client.
That's a crazy story. Like I said, I'm sweating just thinking about it.
But we're making 80%. We're not.
Oh, that's right. You're making 80%. So you guys didn't. But at that point, geez, I bet that list agent will never make that mistake again, because that slowed his or her closing date. So
it was already closed.
They
lived there for 6 weeks before we found that out.
I see what you mean. So it was after the fact.
It was after.
That's even harder.
It was really.
Yeah, because the lender's requiring it.
I think I got a lot of extra gray hairs on that one.
Oh, I don't blame you.
I don't think I slept for like the whole 3 days we were working on this. I don't think I slept at all.
What I like about you guys is, for example, I always give them that warm introduction, and then I give them that soft transfer to you, like, hey, guys, this is Brett. He's my personal broker. He'll help you. He'll take care of you. And then you are on it like fly on candy. It's like you are always, hey, Oscar, I called them. Hey, Oscar, they're giving me an estimate. Hey, send me the contract. Like you're always on it. That I do appreciate about you.
Thank you.
I mean,
one thing for me is that I think it's really important to be timely and efficient.
especially when I'm giving you a client. I can give this to anybody I want, or I can have them shop around, right?
Well, with a real estate
Totally.
transaction, there's 100 things going on at once. Let us take one thing off that plate for you.
Well, not
guys.
only that, they like, know, and trust their agent. So they're going to go, and I encourage them to shop around, but I said, this is my guy. I'm sure he can be, or, find you the best coverage. And you are always on it. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I just think, like I said, I think that it's really important. And for example, I had a client that reached out to me. She had purchased Progressive home insurance through a local builder.
Okay.
Her Progressive policy was being non-renewed. She had decided to wait until Friday afternoon when her policy was being non-renewed on Monday.
Those are fun.
And she's in a fire risk zone. She has a higher value property, and she was like, so she texts me on Friday. I text her back and was like, hey, I'll work on a quote. It's Friday evening. I have a family. I probably won't do it today, but if you have time tomorrow at 9 a.m., I'll go over it with you.
So what happened?
I called her at 9 a.m. and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that you called me. I can't get a hold. I had called some other agents earlier this week and they just haven't ever got back to me. She's like, so I'm not really concerned with what the premium is. Are you able to find coverage? And this builder has an agreement with Progressive that has kind of skewed how people think. Her home policy was $431 from last year. And that doesn't exist. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm like, that, I don't
That doesn't
get it.
exist.
I'd like to see what's on that policy.
It was actually a fairly well-built policy. The problem is it was purchased directly through the builder, which the builder is more concerned about getting people in homes than they are about the insurance.
Right.
And the insurance actually sticking.
Guilty.
But her new insurance premium was $1,900, is $1,872. And she was like, well, that really sucks. But you're the only person that has even called me back and told me that I could buy insurance. So I have to have it by Monday. I'm sure nobody else is going to call me. And I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And she ended up saving like $90 a month on her auto insurance. So that like kind of offset some of the expense that she was taking on for the home insurance. But, it's $1,872 compared to $400 is a pretty significant change.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
So let me get this. Not only did you save her some money, but you got her the coverage.
Yep.
Good for you, man. Good job. And like you guys said, it's not hard. Just pick up your phone because she was.
Well,
I
and
can
communicate, right? Like Brett let her know, hey, I'm with my family. I'm not doing this right now, but I can help you in the morning. It'll still be before you need it.
Right. We're not an 800 number where we're
Right.
available 24/7.
I'm not going to drop what I'm doing.
And I got to tell you,
but I
Des,
will help you.
I'm glad you said that because I feel like my first year, I was super hungry. They were calling me 6, 7. They wanted to see a house at 6 in the morning. I'm there. Now I'm at
And
a
then
point,
they don't show up?
and sometimes actually
Don't
no.
answer the call.
You know what's funny? I had one no call no show, and it was a friend who wanted to see a house. Outside of that, it's been people I've anyways.
Sometimes friends can treat you the worst.
Unfortunately, but my point
Friends
is
become clients a lot slower than clients become friends.
my point is I would have.
That's an industry.
Wait, say that
standard.
again. Hold up. What was your tip?
Friends become clients a lot slower than clients becomes friends.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
I've
BJ
made a
with
lot
the
of friends
skills.
from.
Me too.
Oh, same. There's
I-
good people.
I have one client that she
Oh,
became
hold
my
on.
client.
What's your story?
So her name is Annie, and I can say her name because I'm gonna see her on Saturday. So she became my client.
Hi, Annie.
I think 4 years ago. My husband referred her for insurance, and he called me first, which usually he doesn't call me. He just sends them to me, and he's like, "Hey, you're really gonna like her, I promise." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's weird, but whatever." So I call her. I ended up talking to her for like an hour and a half. We
No.
just had so many things in common, and we became friends. We're friends on Facebook. We've it's been 4 years. I've never met her in person. She's coming on the cruise on Saturday, so I finally get to meet her.
This is relations industry. I mean, you guys are no different than us. It's all about reputation and your relations. I always tell people, I don't sell houses, I help people.
Yeah.
And it's so true. You're helping that gal on a Saturday. You're helping this gal. I mean, you guys are hitting it off. My point was earlier is when you set those boundaries, like, hey, I'm with my family. Hey, I'm, can it wait till tomorrow? Most people say, absolutely, we'll get back to you tomorrow. And when you follow up, you are a rock star, just like your client.
We're like superheroes.
Yeah, well,
our capes are invisible.
The poor guy, I can hear, I haven't even met the lady, and I can hear how emotionally defeated she was.
Yeah.
No one's getting back to me. No one's answering. I need this. Am I gonna lose this house is probably what she's thinking.
Well, and that's really stressful going into a weekend, especially.
Right. So the fact that you helped her out, good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, let's wrap it up. Do you guys have anything you want to share with the fans, the people? What's going on?
The insurance fans?
Anything.
Go Team USA.
For
Yeah, really anything. But
I was like, the Olympics
they're playing Canada on Thursday.
For what?
Ooh.
For Team USA versus Canada for the Four Nations NHL International Tournament.
Oh yeah, if you haven't
Championship game.
noticed, we have a big hockey player, hockey fan in the
Yeah,
house.
the Kraken is part of Brett's
Yeah.
branding.
No, I know. Des, do you have anything you want to share?
I don't know.
Nothing. When does the new issue come out?
These are monthly.
Oh, so next month.
So I'm
Okay.
working, my March issue is done. Now I'm working on the April issue.
Okay. What I like about Des, she does the appreciation, that photo headshot. I love that. I'm excited to go.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that? Mm-mm. Yeah, so it's actually my book club is putting it on, and they asked if I could help with the location, and I was honored to be asked that. So we're doing free headshots. We're working on the next one. That'll be probably late March, mid-April. I have a vacation in the middle of there with my family.
Yeah.
Family's
Well,
important.
and I hope Country
That's
puts
really
on that golf tournament. I have a lot of friends.
I hope
that
so
would be-
too. Yeah, it's
we'll
really
go
fun.
swinging. So it'd be nice to get some fresh air because these virtual golf
And maybe
simulators.
I'll wear sunblock this time and not get
That's
burned.
right. She has a funny story, which, Guys, this has been great. Ladies and gents, please give it up for my favorite insurance agents. You guys have been great. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. If you guys like this video, please like, follow, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye. All right, let's wrap
we
it
off
up.
camera?
Yeah.